We're having right now a conversation about the project Build Back Better. It's another side session, showcase the power and the solutions behind this amazing journey. Just a few minutes before that, just to get a context, the Build Back Better project is an initiative that arose after the 7th of October. Ignite as a community was finding a way how to support the journey of Energy Innovation Center and also the challenges our ecosystem in Israel is facing. We decided at first to support the soldiers building a portable solar station kit, solar portable kit, and also educate kids as part of a getaway from those challenges they have. And after that, we were thinking how we can support long terms, find a solution that impact, and have done a long journey ahead that we have a long discussion about that we can share with the people here and the people at home, explaining how delving and how we're trying to give a bit more hope with this situation. Without further ado, to tell more about this initiative and how to work together with this part of Building Back Better, I'm more than honored to invite our dear partners, our dear members of the panelists today, to share a little bit more information about this session. And invite Einav from Milken Institute to join the stage as a moderator and be part of everything that you will hear right now. I'm more than happy to invite our dear team member that's leading this initiative, Aran Segal, the project manager of Build Back Better, Dr. Radas Shabtai, the leader of the Israel Commercial Recovery and Development and Tkuma Directory. Thank you for joining us today. And of course, as a partner of us, the Ministry of Energy, and Tal Avishai for the next year, I think, second year in a row already here on this stage, Head of Policy and Planning and Strategic Property Ministry of Energy. Thank you for joining us. And last but not least, dear community member that is more than a friend, Yoni Aran, the CEO of Oasic Energy. Thank you for joining us, and I'll let you all take it from there.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all. So my name is Adas, and up until 2.5 years ago, I was a colonel in the IDF in the advisory to the head of general staff. And due to October 7 events, I joined the Tkuma Directorate. The Tkuma Directorate aims to rehabilitate and build back better the region of Gaza envelope, Otef Aza. And I'm part of the economical team dealing with energy, aerial economical development, and businesses.
Thank you, Alas. So I want to continue you, Ms. Tal Avishai, from member of Ministry of Energy.
Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Tal Avishai. I'm the head of long-term policy and also regular policy, what we call policy planning and strategic projects at the Ministry of Energy. As part of the strategic projects, one of the main projects is the ministry plan for the rehabilitation and development of the Tkuma region, and also the northern part of Israel.
Yoni?
So great to be here. Yoni Aran, CEO and co-founder of Oasics. We are a startup developing thermal energy storage. And we're implementing an innovative project for the Tkuma region that will help achieve energy resilience, energy independence, and also cost savings. I'm basically from the energy sector for 15 years, and this is my second startup, and really happy to be part of this community of Ignite the Spark.
Thank you. So the last one is Aran Segal from Ignite the Spark, our panel host.
You're the panel host. Thank you. My name is Aran Segal, a lawyer. Joined Ignite the Spark about a year ago. Very happy and excited to be here. I lead the Build Back Better initiative in Ignite the Spark. And as my panelists, co-panelists say, we're aiming to rebuild Israel's south and north via energy resilience and energy innovation.
So the ministry's main responsibility is to ensure reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy sector in Israel. And this is something that we used to say very regularly without really thinking what does it mean. For a very long time we said sustainable, affordable, reliable energy system. And I think October 7th was a very tragic evidence for how important it is and how fragile it might be. And this is the point that we came with our plan, our vision and plan for the rehabilitation and development of that region. Our plan is based on three main ideas. The first pillar is energy security, which again may sound very regular and normal for many of us, but we just saw that it's not that obvious, and we need to act in order to maintain it. And that can be together with renewable energies, based on renewable energies. The Tkuma region has a great potential, and not only potential. We see there are already hundreds of megawatts of renewable energies that together with more renewables and storage and technologies may be even better and create even energy independent at the region. The second pillar of our plan is economic development and economic growth. We see it in two different ways. First of all, energy is the basis to any other rehabilitation aspect, and it's actually the basis of our life. Without energy, we cannot have rehabilitation of education, of welfare, health, whatever it is. So first of all, energy enable any other aspect of rehabilitation, but it can also be an economic growth engine. We see that after many crises, infrastructure are the way to recover. We saw it after COVID, we see it all the time, and we think that here also that can be a great part of the rehabilitation. It can enable it, but it can also be a very easy and sustainable income to the residents of the region. The third aspect of our plan is innovation. Many times we think of innovation as a nice-to-have part, as buzzwords, high-tech, startup nation. But we think that this time innovation is an inherent part of the plan. There is a great potential in the region, in Israel, to develop those technologies there, but also to adopt them, to be the first adopters, not in the risky way, but in a positive way, to be the future energy system and energy sector of Israel. When we imagine 2 years ahead of us, we imagine that a foreign minister of energy will come to Israel and will take him to the Tkuma region or the northern part of Israel and show him the future energy sector of Israel. And I think that there is a great potential here because this region has, there are many opportunities, there is a great will, and the characteristics of this area can make it happen. And when we speak about Build Back Better, I think that when we speak about Tkuma or the northern part of Israel, we should speak about it not as a Build Back Better, but as Build Back the Best. Because this is the time, this is the place, and there is a great potential, but not only potential, we see it already happening.
So after October 7, basically Ignite the Spark as a community started thinking how we can give back. What can be done with communities to help them not only rebuild, but build back better. And that was exactly our moment to shine and bring out the ecosystem, the energy tech ecosystem into the rebuilding. And integrate, as Tal mentioned, the third pillar, integrate innovation, energy tech innovation into the rebuilding. So the first step was just to get in touch with communities. So Sean mentioned that before, first steps were even just to build modular kits for soldiers and make educational programs for kids that were evicted from the communities. But after that, the communities that were that had more attention towards rebuilding and not just infrastructure. So meaning not just plain rebuilding of houses that were damaged and community buildings that were damaged, but also they had the mindset and mind capacity towards rebuilding energy projects as well. So we started to get in touch with them. And initially, and Yoni was a part of that even before I was, and they created a solution guidebook. So communities will have in mind what types of solutions are available. For instance, EV charging, BIPV, meaning like building integrated PV, photovoltaics, usually with tiles, or agrivoltaic, or energy resilience with the storage, and then different kinds of solutions, just to get them more involved. That was initially. After which, the Ministry of Energy, in last September 2024, they published the call for proposals for innovation, and with the Tkuma Directorate, we were able to join forces and basically fund energy resilience projects that, on the one hand, they incorporate the energy tech innovation, so giving a shout out for the ecosystem, and on the other hand, which is the basis of the project, is giving the energy resilience, taking, working with the communities, understanding what's their pain, what kind of building or infrastructure or a wastewater treatment facility or what's their next project is, and making that energy resilient, making that energy innovative, and giving them back, and doing whatever we can to support them with the help of the Tkuma and the Ministry of Energy.
So first, let me give some context. We're talking about the energy transition, and everybody is pushed, to install energy storage to cut costs, to increase resilience. But there is a market gap, actually, and inside buildings, what we call behind the meters, it's quite problematic to install lithium storage because they're not fire safe, and people are afraid. And especially after October 7th, we don't want anything that could explode and things like that. Other than that, behind the meter projects in buildings are not so cost effective. So it's a big problem. And here's an interesting thing. So when you look at the building, 50 to 70% of the energy is thermal, goes to heating and cooling. It's the biggest load, the most volatile load. And so thermal energy storage basically could be the solution because it's fire safe and it could really assist. But it still has one missing part, because usually it's either storing heat or cold. So it's either summer or winter and not all year long. So it has a limited economic potential. And of course, it's not good for resilience. It's not all year long. So at OASICS, we developed this technology, dual thermal storage technology, which can store both heating and cooling in the same modular cell, okay? Dynamic also changing between heat and cold. And basically it can operate all year long, very similar performance to lithium batteries, but half of the price and completely fire safe. So it can solve the biggest part of the problem in buildings. And really, it's a big market gap, and we see a lot of demand from the market. And what we do in the Build Back Better, in the city of Sderot, in the south of Israel, there is an amazing neighborhood now being built, and of course, energy resilience in this region is very important. So there is a huge conference hall for 200 people in this community neighborhood. And we will install there 250 kilowatt hours of our storage, to demonstrate our commercial capabilities. But it's not everything. It will be also coupled with PV and with small electrical storage outside of the building. And so we will also be the key enabling technology in actually transforming this public space to be completely energy independent, 100%. showcasing 50% energy savings and energy resilience, as long as the sun shines, of course, but even when there is a blackout and the sun doesn't shine, 48 hours of blackout protection. So really, it's a key enabling technology in this transition. We're doing the project together with Ignite the Spark, which really helped taking, the other aspects that otherwise wouldn't have happened, like the solar and like community management, with Metsudot, our client, with Tadiran, and of course with the Tkuma Directorate and the Ministry of Energy. So we think it's a very interesting project. We're currently in advanced engineering, and by the end of the year or Q1, we will be running on site, and we will welcome everyone to come and see it.
Yeah, so I think Yoni kind of touched that because it's very hard to implement energy resilience because there are two major issues with that. The first one being that when you try to create a project or just calculate how much storage you need, energy storage or thermal storage as well, you don't have necessarily a benchmark, or you don't usually go for the optimum. For instance, if you go in Israel, you have 5 or 6 hours of peak time. So if you want to just build a battery, just take a standalone battery and have it run just to cover the peak time, then you will get a 6-hour or 5-hour battery. But if you want to go with energy resilience, so usually you have to take a bigger battery into mind, or a bigger thermal storage to, as Yoni said, keep it running for 48 hours of blackout, meaning that you have to put in much more capex, a lot more money basically into the battery or into the storage, which is not optimized. So that's the first part of it. Second part, when we're talking about innovation projects, is the risk. The risk itself, new technology, not in mass production, costs are higher, and therefore, like any new technology, until the stage where mass production starts and prices start to drop, we're still at the stage where the risk is high, and so are production prices. So taking these two factors into account, we get projects that are relatively risky, supposedly, and and higher in cost. Therefore, the blended finance models are exactly the spot and the place where government can come into play, and also where philanthropy can come into play, and join hands in order to de-risk these types of projects. For instance, by diversifying risks, so taking, for instance, a few projects and funding them together, or having the funds initially for the down payment, and on top of it, the community can take, for instance, a loan, then it can build a project, or taking low interest impact investments. These are all different types of blended financing models that can bring these type of projects into life, and de-risking them and allowing the growth of innovation while keeping the energy resilience and keeping prices and ROIs normal.
Well, actually, I think I have a few good examples for the aspects you're talking about. Last year, we issued, first of all, our connection to the event is due to the 7 October events. As Tal mentioned before, people stayed in shelters without electricity, without being able to be in touch, use the phone, and know what's going on outside. So what we did last year is we issued, along with the Ministry of Energy, a project for each council region, it's for the Sderot municipality, and each village, kibbutz, moshav, everyone to support them to have at least one project in the area of economic of in the area of energy independence. And what we see is from the applications that we received, there were like over 100 projects, and nearly 70% of them were in the fields of storage. Renewable energies are economic. Storage is not an economic field within renewable energy, and therefore 70% of the projects were exactly at that gap. Where the government budget can apply and close this gap, it makes the whole project economical. And we had a few other good examples, 8 actually, with people sitting here. We combined philanthropy and 2 ministers' budget, and also besides philanthropy, also civilian investments. And this combined a few other projects that we heard about by Yoni and Aran. So another thing is we'll talk about it later, but lately we issued an RFI, and we got a few dozen replies that combine both the funding parts and the resilience part, but I'll talk about it later.
Yeah, so obviously in a startup and innovative project there are a lot of challenges. And talking in the context of this panel, you know, in energy resilience, one of them is how do you tap on resilience? How do you quantify resilience? I mean, it's very difficult, and without quantifying, people don't want to pay for it, you know. So we haven't solved it yet, but our approach in this project is to make a very economic business case and to allow the resilience to be a byproduct that has to be specified and has to be talked over all the time, like we are already used to with emissions and all of those metrics. But it's still about to solve, and I think the market will adjust and they will pay for it eventually. But this is something to be solved. And the second thing, the second challenge is about scale. I mean, we can have a great project, we can succeed in it in Sderot, but how do we replicate it later to other moshavim, other kibbutzim to the north, and to other segments also? So this is a big challenge, and for us, we took it from the technology side, and we focused all of our innovation in one modular cell that will allow us to go to other segments. Because, for example, a building might operate with a chiller that cools 7 degrees, but a data center will operate with a different chiller that will cool at 18 degrees. And if we cannot store in the exact output temperature of the chiller, there is a lot of losses of energy. Like voltages, you cannot operate in different voltages. So basically, we're storing energy in a magic-like material called phase-changing materials. It's what I have here. It's materials that are changing their phase from liquid into solid, and by that releasing energy in a constant temperature. And what we've developed is this know-how and technology, how we can tune the temperature for each cell in exactly what we need, so it can fit the thermal devices that are on site. So basically, we can now approach any segment, if it's hotels, if it's public places, if it's heat. You know, now there is regulation in Europe to use waste heat from data centers and from other, and I'm sure Israel will follow sometime soon. So basically, we approach to that. And the second thing about scale is we designed the cells so it will be very modular. You can stack it on top of each other and fit tight spaces, so it can fit real buildings, you know. But it can also fit inside a container, and we can accommodate 2 megawatt hours of storage within one 20-foot container. So far, we secured 3 commercial projects, 2 in Israel and 1 in New York City. And we've seen great demand for this. And I must say that the economic probability for storage, like we started saying here, is difficult in Israel because of the TAOZ, because of the time of use tariffs. So I'm hoping that there will be some kind of regulation or some kind of change in the electricity market to make it as economic, because as Israelis we prefer to operate here, but as startups we're obligated to operate it, you know, where the market demands.
Thank
So I think the process is relatively similar to what we did before, what we did in, I want to say, the first round. Sorry, but we can build on that because we learned a lot, really learned a lot because these are first of a kind projects. And the Ministry of Energy and Tkuma, they have a vision going from basically government down, top down, and we, I want to say, feel the field as well, and we can bring them as well with the RFI, and as Adas mentioned, bring solutions or the aches from ground up, and then basically we can meet, I want to say meet halfway, or it's not, but it's not meet halfway, it's meet in the center. It's to meet where the needs are precisely are. So our vision is to replicate the projects that we have, and right now we lead 6 projects, and they can become 60 or 600. And Yoni mentioned that as well. There are 2 different types of scalability. It's either taking the projects that we have and just replicating them at same size, or increasing the size. So it's the 2 different types of scalability, and we're aiming towards both of them, as well as going into the north. I mean, rehabilitation of the north region hasn't been really begun yet. There is a Tnufa al Tzafon, but there's still, I think, as we say in the diapers, as we say in Hebrew. Not to offend, of course, anyone. And I think that my vision, our vision, as Ignite the Spark, is to be involved in that, take what we learned from the kibbutzim, from the moshavim in the south region, and implementing them, and finding also the next solutions that might be more applicable and more relevant towards the north. That is exactly why we are starting from today, already looking into the future and designing and starting to think about the implementation of what's going to be the next solution, the next technology that's going to be implemented in the north. And Ignite the Spark as an ecosystem hub, we have the linkage between startups and historically to partners or ecosystem partners, which the startups can implement and do the POCs, the proof of concepts, with the partners. But now we also have the opportunity to do the POCs with communities. So it's also another type and real live implementation of technology. So our vision with the startups is basically have like an internal RFI or an internal addressing to the community, to the ecosystem, and saying, all right, we have the connection to the kibbutz, this and that kibbutz in the north, and they are having this and that problem. Let's think about it together. Give us your best solutions, and we can do the incorporation. We can do the linkage. So this is if we're talking about new solutions. Also, with the partners that we're working with right now, we're learning how to do the best practices, how to drive down prices for construction, for EPC, for purchase of materials, CapEx, and therefore the next projects and the more projects that we will do, prices will go down and they will be easier to implement. So it's all, it's a rolling ball basically, from the project that we have to the next projects and to the next solutions and technologies that will be implemented.
Well, first of all, we actually published it about a month ago, and we closed it for applications last week. As I said, we got a few dozens of applications, very interesting, I must say. In the process that we had last year, we understood there are many technologies optional for implementing our goals. And therefore, we decided to issue an RFI to ask the market a few questions. The first one refers to our clients and what we want them to achieve. We want resilience, energy resilience and independence for our clients. Who are our clients? The people of the region. Hopefully, by the way, to be later duplicated into the north area and maybe more. And so first of all, the people of the region are our clients, their homes, the roofs. Second, are the municipalities, like regional councils and the municipality of Sderot. Businesses. I have a factory, I have a roof, I consume energy, I produce energy, and last but not least is like the combination of all of them. And in this case, there's a great difference in regulatory issues because whoever is an historical divider can basically has the best starting point. Because behind the meter, he's very independent. If I'm a moshav or if I'm a building in Sderot, then it's a little more difficult because of regulatory issues. So what we've asked is to have the solutions existing under what we have, everyone for what he has in his situation in the regulation market. The second thing, after defining our clients, by the way, we did it all by consulting the people you see among me and a few others, and it was very contributing to hear them all. And after defining our clients, we said that in order to achieve the goals and of resilience for the clients, we would like to have all technological solutions possible under the current regulations and other technological solution possible under regulatory amendments. And besides that, we asked for financial models in order to support these technologies. And as I said, we have some very good answers that we got, and they will be the basis for future activity. And I'm positively sure that it has to be a combination of the funding of government and private and philanthropy to achieve the maximum of the benefits, both financial and resilience for our clients.
So I was actually thinking about it on my way here. There's a lot of things happen during the past year. There are budgets that were allocated more than 30 million shekels to all of the communities in the Tkuma region. I have to admit that we were surprised because energy is not the first thing that come up to your mind when you think about rehabilitation. And each and every community in the region applied to our tender together with the Tkuma administration. And so as I mentioned, we allocated money, the RFI was published, projects are being promoted. But I think that the main thing that has changed since last year is the deep understanding of how important it is to work together inside the government, together with the private sector, together with the local authorities, together, of course, with the residents. We see it all the time, that not all the answers are in our hands. We may have some budget, but again, I don't think the money is the main issue here. It is an issue, of course, always, but I think that the main issue of the government and our main responsibility is to enable startups to grow, to lower and reduce bureaucracy, to remove barriers, and to do it together. And I think this is the key here to success, to work together. Let's talk, let's figure out the tariff, let's see how can we duplicate it and make adaptations for the northern part of Israel. Let's see together from the RFI, and let's see how we can together make that dream come true, because I think it's possible. It's possible, and it fills everyone with hope. I'm in the government for about 8 years. I don't think I ever saw such a commitment from so many people, from so many aspects and so many points of view. And it's a great opportunity, and I think it's a very unique opportunity, and we should just make it happen.
So yeah, I think the Tkuma region can be a great demonstration plant for all of Israel and all of the world. You know, the suffering we suffered from the 7th of October is really deep in our hearts, and it's the timing is right for a change in that case. So I think we should really grab it with two hands and really promote with all the projects also education and awareness and campaigns like the Ministry of Energy just did, I think, a week or two ago about the solar panels, which was amazing. We can do similar things to raise the awareness, because eventually the people also have to agree to take on it and to do it. We are willing to, but the people are not aware of the changes that has been in the last few years. So I think this is the case.
Thank you.
I agree. I think Tkuma region should be a live example of the future energy sector in Israel that combines reliability, innovation, and of course, an economic growth and sustainable energy. So I think this is the future of the region. This is the future of the northern part of Israel, and this should be the future of the whole Israeli energy sector.
Well, actually, I agree with my friends. This is what I've been doing for the past year and so, and I see that things are moving, and projects are happening and being budgeted, and hopefully large scales event and influences will arise and are arising actually.
So I want to combine all these answers basically, because I think the major issue that we are learning from the Tkuma region, and Yoni touched that a little bit before, is that people are willing to do energy resilience, but not in any cost. They won't basically pay any price for energy resilience. So I think that's the biggest lesson that we should take out of this, out of the Tkuma region, and implement it everywhere. Because energy resilience is very much linked with grid volatility and grid overload, which we experience everywhere. We are starting to see more and more initiated power outages throughout Israel and in various aspects, various areas throughout Israel. And I think this is exactly the place to learn from, I don't want to say mistakes, but learn from what happens and what happens in the field to drive innovation, not only in energy resilience throughout Israel, but also in the methodology in which we are addressing the problems and what views and what the bigger vision should be. This goes the same for IEC and for NOGA and all the private sector. That all should, in our vision at least, contribute to the efforts and play their part. It means that if they have to, for initial projects, for instance, drive prices down, take a little bit less of profits, a little bit less of gains through their private sector in order to increase size and scalability and to have better options for the future. Not just so the private sector could thrive. That this will allow better EPC in the future, and I think the private sector as well should realize that, as well as government officials that should understand or do understand and trying to make it happen, that government should step in also to support support the private sector, support the communities and regional councils, so we can all learn and take it to the future.
So thank you very much for all of you.